Joining us on the phone right now is the Treasury Secretary of the United States of America, Mr. Steven Mnuchin. Mr. Secretary, look, thanks very much for jumping onto the show real fast. We do appreciate this. In the past, you've told us that we're going to start seeing the economy expand in July, August and September. What is it that will get us to that point of expansion when we're already in such a deep hole?
Well, first of all, it's great to be here with you again this morning. And you're right, we are in a deep hole, but we're in a deep hole because of a virus and because of the fact that we had to shut down major parts of the economy. Not because business was bad. Matter of fact, we had the best economy ever. And as states start opening up, I think you're going to see a lot of demand come back. Now, again, the states are going to open up slowly. So you're going to see June and July pick up. But I think by August and September, you're going to see a big bounce back from what has been a very rocky period. And let me just also emphasize, the $3 trillion that we're plowing into the economy is going to have a huge impact. The PPP is going to impact over 60 million workers. That's half of the private workforce. You're going to see the enhanced unemployment insurance, the direct deposit payments, and other programs that we're working on with the Federal Reserve to inject unprecedented liquidity into the U.S. economy.
Now, I understand that you're dealing or trying to deal with some of the problems of getting those loans out to small business. As I understand it, you're going to propose to that any loan over $2 million will have the full analysis before the money goes out, and larger companies which have claimed wrongly the money could be subject to criminal liability. Is that what you're doing about these snafus with small business loans?
It is. Let me just say, I think overall this program has just been an outstanding success. I mean, we launched an unprecedented program in a short period of time. We did have systems issues yesterday. We had the SBA team working through the night. I think we've corrected a lot of those issues today. But you're right. There's been press on a small number of companies. The vast majority of these companies are companies with 10 workers or less, but there's a small number of companies. They were either owned by public companies or the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm a big Lakers fan. I'm outraged that they took that loan. I'm glad to see they paid it back. There was a borrower certification that people had to initial, and it said that the loan request was necessary to support the ongoing operations. And if that certification is inaccurate, people will have criminal liability. The one thing I would just say is we're not going to be able to check all the loans before they go out the door because there's over 26,000 of these loans. But before we forgive these loans, we'll check every single one over $2 million. So anybody that took the money that shouldn't have taken the money, one, it won't be forgiven, and two, they may be subject to criminal liability, which is a big deal. I encourage everybody to look at this and pay back these loans now so we can recycle the money if you made a mistake.
Am I right in saying that the extra money, this extra $310 billion plus $60 billion through small business, that is now flowing unhindered, rapidly out to the people who need it? Is that the case as of right now, this morning?
That is correct, and I can assure all the people who were waiting in line for this new program to get up and running will get their loans, and we're in the process of now taking new loans. Okay. And again, I expect over 60 million Americans to be impacted by this program, half of the private workforce. This is a great program that the president designed with us and is going to be enormous support to the U.S. economy.
Mr. Secretary, the president has said, look, no bailouts. We're not doing bailouts for industries. Does that mean that the money that went to the airlines and which may go to the oil companies will have to be repaid?
Well, the airlines, there was two components of it. So there was one component that we already sent out the door, and on that component, it was a combination of grants and loans. So there was a component of it where we knew we would get reduced unemployment insurance, we knew we would get additional taxes, we knew that we would get some flights, and that we credited. But the rest of it, the airlines have to pay back, so we've been very clear. This is not a shareholder bailout. And the president has been very clear. He wants me and the Secretary of Energy to study very carefully the oil industry, and we're looking at providing liquidity. But again, that won't be a bailout. But oil and energy is critical to us in our energy independence, and we are absolutely determined to protect our energy independence.
Would you have any comment on bailing out the states, specifically Illinois, which the state legislature there is asking for $40 billion, which includes $10 billion to fix their pre-existing pension condition? Any comment on that, Mr. Secretary?
Well, I think it's very clear that anything that Congress does is not going to have a bailout of pre-coronavirus issues. So states that were mismanaged beforehand are not going to get a federal bailout. And anything that the states that we do with the states, as you know, this has been a bipartisan effort. The two last bills went through 96-0 in the Senate and by unanimous consent on the other one. So I'm sure there'll be a healthy debate. I mean, as we've already done, I think it is appropriate where states like New York and New Jersey had very, very high coronavirus expenses. We've already sent money to them that will reimburse them specifically for the coronavirus expenses, not for lost revenues. But again, this will be a healthy debate going forward, and nothing will be done unless there is absolute bipartisan support.
Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, thank you very much indeed for coming on the show this morning on a very important day. We always appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Great to be with you.
Good stuff.